The movie begins thousands of years ago in a powerful kingdom called Akkad. Their elite warriors are known as the Black Scorpions, and because of their extraordinary courage, they are chosen to protect the emperor himself. The most famous warrior among the Black Scorpions is Ashur. He does not want his son Matthias to join the Legion's trial, because it is too dangerous and could cost him his life. But Matthias still decides to sign up, despite his father's warning. The trial is a battle between 24 boys, and only the 12 survivors will be allowed to join the Black Scorpions. The man in charge of the contest is Sargon, a ruthless warrior. He says the winners will still have to train for 6 more years before officially serving the kingdom. The brutal fight begins, and Sargon keeps pushing them to become more savage, saying mercy is weakness in war. During the battle, Matthias suddenly discovers that his childhood friend Layla has also entered the trial, but she is hiding her face because women are forbidden to fight. When Sargon discovers Layla, he immediately rips off her mask and tries to hit her. Matthias steps in to protect her, but he is no match for Sargon. He runs away and causes chaos, making the guards chase him before he is finally captured. Sargon wants to punish Matthias, but Ashur appears to protect his son. The two men fight in front of everyone. Ashur does not want to win. He only wants to take Matthias away from this dangerous place. Right then, the king of Akkad arrives. Sargon pretends to be the weaker one and accuses them of insulting the king, but the king decides to let Matthias join the Black Scorpions, believing the boy may have inherited his father's courage. That decision fills Sargon with rage. His eyes change strangely and he swears that Ashur will pay. One night, Matthias wakes up to his father's screams. When he runs into the room, he is horrified to see Ashur covered in countless scorpions, dying a terrible death. Even though he does not see the killer with his own eyes, Matthias is certain Sargon is behind it. From that day on, he vows to become a powerful warrior and return for revenge. Matthias is later taken away to train with the other young Black Scorpions. The brutal exercises help him rise above everyone else. 6 years pass, and the boy who left Akkad returns as a true warrior. When Matthias and his group walk through the city gates, the people stand and cheer for the new generation of Black Scorpions. He reunites with his mother, sees that his younger brother Noah has grown up, and meets Layla again, the childhood friend he still has feelings for. However, Matthias's joy is quickly destroyed when he learns that while he was away, Sargon killed King Hammurabi and took the throne for himself. When Sargon meets Matthias again, he mocks him and says he has a special mission for him. That night, Matthias goes to the palace and sees Sargon training with his men in a brutal way. Matthias notices the tattoos on their bodies, and he is told that each tattoo represents a person they have killed. This shows the great difference between the two men. Matthias only kills when he has to, while Sargon believes everyone deserves to die. Sargon wants to make Matthias his personal bodyguard, but first the young warrior must prove his loyalty by killing the person Sargon chooses. The next day, Matthias is horrified when the chosen victim turns out to be his own brother Noah. Matthias refuses, breaks the chains to save Noah and fights the guards. He takes down many of Sargon's men before staring straight at him, saying that he killed his father and now has to pay. When Matthias throws a spear at Sargon, Sargon uses magic to stop it in midair. Matthias realizes the situation is beyond his ability, so he immediately escapes with his brother. Even though they get far away from the palace, Sargon fires an enchanted arrow that works like a tracking missile. It passes through every obstacle and finally strikes Noah from behind. In the desert, Matthias is devastated when he realizes his brother is dying. The brother he has just reunited with after 6 years is killed by the same man who murdered their father, deepening the hatred inside him. The next day, Matthias continues his journey and meets Layla again, who has also escaped the kingdom. She refuses to live under the restrictions placed on women in Akkad, and wants to seek adventure herself. Matthias worries she will be in danger, so he refuses to let her come and goes alone toward Egypt, where he believes he can find the answer to stopping Sargon's magic. When Matthias boards a boat, he suddenly discovers that Layla is also there. He understands that she will be traveling with him. Along the way, he explains that his father once protected the pharaoh's personal bodyguard, so he wants to find that man and borrow the spear of Osiris, hoping to use it against Sargon. A man on the boat named Ari overhears the story. He is a scholar who knows many languages, and he says Matthias's plan will fail, because the spear of Osiris only works against Egyptian monsters, not an ordinary human. Ari explains that if Matthias truly wants to defeat Sargon's magic, he must find the sword of Damocles. The sword can cut through anything, but it has been offered to the queen of the underworld. Matthias does not care about the danger. He only needs to know the sword can kill Sargon. Since Ari knows how to find the gate to the underworld, Matthias decides to drag him into the journey. After that, the group arrives in Greece. Layla distracts the guards so they can sneak inside. Ari tells them they must find the labyrinth inside the palace, because it is the only path leading to the entrance of the underworld. But as soon as they enter the palace, many guards appear. Matthias fights them with his sword and incredible strength. While Ari and Layla open a secret door, the three step inside, only to fall straight into a pit. Matthias tries to talk to the prisoners, but no one reacts. When he tries speaking Greek, one of them finally answers. It turns out these prisoners have been kidnapped from many different countries, only to be sacrificed to a crazed half-man, half-bull monster. Every day, the bull-headed monster must eat a certain number of people, and the king believes this creature protects the city, so he keeps feeding it humans. Matthias urges the prisoners to fight together, while Ari translates for him. However, their fear is too great, and no one dares to stand up. Later, Matthias and Layla decide to enter the maze and scout ahead. They find a man tied up and shaking in terror. When Matthias unties him, the man immediately runs away, and soon Matthias understands why. The monster is so powerful that it easily overwhelms Matthias and Layla like they are nothing. It nearly kills Layla, but the prisoners arrive just in time to help. Even though they try to fight back, the situation seems almost hopeless. Seeing this, Matthias becomes furious and charges forward at full speed. He drives his sword into the monster's neck and finally kills it. Afterward, he runs to the injured Layla, comforts her and tells her to stay there until he returns. An older prisoner recognizes Matthias and says he once fought alongside Asher, who saved his life. To repay that debt, he agrees to help Matthias, although he is still afraid when he learns they are heading to the underworld. However, thanks to Ari's persuasive words, the old man finally agrees to keep helping them. They go deeper into the labyrinth and find a room covered in ancient carvings. When Ari reads one line of text, everything begins to collapse. The room breaks apart, and the group finds itself standing on a stone pillar in the middle of an empty void. They realize they have entered the underworld. Everyone is tense, but Matthias remembers something his father once told him and tries to step down. After several terrifying illusions, they discover the stone pillar is actually very close to the ground. They all climb down together, and Matthias realizes that in this world, ordinary rules no longer apply. At this moment, Ari takes out an hourglass and hangs it around his neck. He explains that humans can only survive in the underworld for 1 hour. After that time, their bodies will turn to stone and they will die instantly. However, the Greek prisoners do not understand what he says. Meanwhile, Sargon stands before a magical disc and uses it to watch Matthias. He wants to know how Matthias and his companions can survive after entering the most dangerous place of all. The answer soon becomes clear when huge trees suddenly grow out of nowhere around Matthias's group, turning the area into a small forest. Ari tells everyone to cover their faces and clothes with dirt, because this world forbids the living. They continue through the strange trees until a root suddenly wraps around Ari's leg and pulls him down. One prisoner quickly cuts it with a sword and saves him. Along the way, the undead appear. Matthias even sees the image of Asher standing before him, which shakes him deeply. Ari warns everyone not to look into their eyes, because doing so will put them under a spell and kill them. One prisoner ignores the warning and dies, making the atmosphere even more tense. They stop and ask Ari for the way to the sword, but the problem is that Ari does not actually know its exact location. One prisoner sees a few pieces of gold and rushes toward them out of greed, but a giant insect immediately appears and devours him. Seeing people disappear one after another, the older prisoner decides to split from Matthias to see what is happening. Meanwhile, Matthias and the 3 remaining companions arrive at the gate of a mysterious and terrifying cave, then decide to enter it. At that moment, the princess of the underworld appears and asks what they are doing there. When they lie to her, she uses magic to force everyone to kneel, but Matthias refuses to obey. Astarte then says she is the princess of love and war, and anyone who looks into her eyes will fall in love with her and follow her commands without thinking. Layla mocks her, saying any woman can make a man lose his mind. While the 2 women argue, Matthias and the others quietly search for the sword. Ari and the last prisoner actually find it in a separate room. Sensing that Layla is attacking her, Astarte decides to punish her with magic. Matthias immediately interferes and offers a deal. Astarte gives him a condition. She will let Matthias's friends leave safely if he stays with her forever. But when Matthias refuses, she tries to kill Layla. He saves her at the last second, and Ari throws the sword to Matthias, telling everyone to leave immediately. In the end, They make it back to the stone pillar within the time limit, but the older prisoner does not make it and dies instantly. Meanwhile, Astarte appears before Sargon in his chamber. It is now revealed that Astarte is the one who gave Sargon his magical power. She tells him Matthias has stolen her sword and demands that he get it back at all costs. Sargon asks for more power to control the situation, and Astarte agrees to give him strength far greater than before. At dawn, Matthias and his companions begin their journey back to Akkad with the legendary sword. On the way, Matthias confesses his deep love for Layla and learns that she loves him too. Meanwhile, Sargon prepares to pay the price for his new power. He gathers the people in one place and plans to burn them all alive. Matthias and his group arrive outside the city. The prisoner in their group wants to leave and return to his homeland, but Ari convinces him to stay and help. When they enter the city, they see Sargon's soldiers beating the people. Matthias calls over a boy to ask what happened, and learns that Sargon has ordered everyone to gather at the city's arena. Matthias decides to take Ari to find Sargon, while Layla and the prisoner go to the arena to check the situation. When Matthias reaches the palace gate, he tells the guards directly that he has come to kill Sargon. When they draw their swords, Matthias destroys their weapons with a single strike, frightening them into letting him and Ari pass. Meanwhile, Layla arrives at the arena and immediately understands that Sargon is preparing the largest mass burning in history. Inside the palace, Matthias and Ari search for Sargon, but suddenly Matthias's father appears again. He tries to convince his son that he is real. Ari stands nearby, writing down his words like a historical record. Asher seems to move Matthias by reminding him of old memories. But when Matthias places his hand on the legendary sword, the truth is revealed. This is actually Sargon, disguised by magic. Sargon uses magic to knock the sword out of Matthias's hand, sending it toward Ari. The two men then begin a hand-to-hand fight. This does not favor Matthias, because Sargon is extremely strong and savage. Even so, Matthias endures and says he is no longer fighting only for his father. He is also fighting to end Sargon's oppression and cruelty forever. He begins throwing punches and kicks so powerful that Sargon is forced to step back several times. At this moment, Ari appears between them with the sword in his hands and hesitates. Sargon tells him to hand over the sword and offers him treasure in exchange. Ari takes the bag of jewels and gives him the sword, leaving Matthias shocked because he thinks he has been betrayed. Ari explains that this is his chance to become rich and have a good story to tell. Then he walks away, leaving Matthias stunned by the betrayal. Elsewhere, Layla and the prisoner try to stop the people from being burned alive, but the situation is extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, just as Sargon is about to kill Matthias, the sword in his hand suddenly shatters. Ari appears again and throws the real sword to Matthias. It turns out he only pretended to betray him to buy time. When Sargon sees the real sword, he becomes nervous because he knows its power. He begins chanting a spell. His body changes strangely and then he disappears. Matthias carefully chases after him, but he is suddenly struck in the stomach and thrown far away. Then Sargon appears again, now transformed into a giant black spider, and begins attacking Matthias from every direction, destroying everything in his path. Matthias tries to run as the place begins to burn and collapse. He is thrown outside. The sword falls from his hand and the giant spider lands a powerful blow to his chest. Even though he is badly injured, Matthias still tries to stand with all his strength. The attack has poisoned Matthias, causing his body to grow weaker. At the same time, Sargon's men shoot flaming arrows into the oil, setting the arena on fire. Layla calls the prisoner over to help before the flames spread to the walls, which have also been soaked in oil. Right then, Matthias forces himself to stand again so he can end everything once and for all. He sees where the legendary sword has fallen, and decides to grab it quickly before the spider notices and kills him. Elsewhere, Layla and the prisoner quickly use dirt to put out the flames and save the people from a horrible death. At the same time, Matthias throws some oil onto the spider to stop it from vanishing again. He lures it closer, then quickly grabs the sword and drives it straight into its face, saying this strike is for his father. In that moment, the spider turns back into Sargon and he finally dies for good. Afterward, Astarte appears before Matthias as he is dying from the poison. She easily takes the sword back from him and says she must kill him because he stole her sword. But Matthias has already accepted his fate and says she will see him again soon anyway, because he is about to die. Hearing this, Astarte decides to spare him and disappears immediately. Everything happens in front of Ari, who then passes out on the spot. 3 days later, Matthias wakes up and realizes he has completely recovered. When he sees Ari, he immediately grabs him, remembering the betrayal. But Ari explains the whole truth, saying he was the one who brought Matthias here and saved his life. Matthias slowly calms down, especially when he sees that the love of his life is still safe. After that, King Hammurabi's son is officially appointed as the new rightful king of Akkad, while Matthias and Layla stand there listening to his speech. Layla tells Matthias that Ari left behind a letter before leaving. When Matthias reads it, he starts laughing. As for Matthias, he no longer wants war or adventure. The only thing he wants now is to live peacefully with Layla for the rest of his life. But there is still one problem. The blood of the scorpion still runs through Matthias's body. So in the final scene, Matthias stands alone in the desert, looking as if he is returning to the underworld to meet Astarte once again.